All right, folks, Alex Singleton here, CEO, CTO, and founder of Bucephalus Dev, on the road here in Washington, D.C., kicking off my last graduate research project here as a technical lead for our group project here, which is an Uber clone called uberAmbulance, which is addressing one of today's main issues here in society here is time and money. It just amazes me that in the age of the iPhone and Uber, it can take up to 40 minutes for an ambulance to reach a patient in need of critical care. So our uberAmbulance clone here is aiming to address those two needs. In addition to that, it can take up to, I guess, $1,100, some cases $3,500. I've heard some stories to $7,000 to $10,000 to get that patient to the hospital. Now, that's probably because of an industry fraught with fraud. There was about $700 million of Medicare fraud accounted for last year. That's per, I believe, the New York Times. So a bunch of factors here that is complicating the efficient allocation of resources. And we also plan to apply some sort of cryptographic approach or a cryptocurrency approach with the Ethereum blockchain, but that'll be down the road here. Right now, I would just like to give a brief overview of the first run on a prototype I was able to cobble together here using all open source frameworks, primarily mongoDB, NPM, and jQuery AJAX calls. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. I want to give everyone a brief rundown here of what I did here. So assuming you know how to clone a repo, and again, this was derived from a couple of tutorials that I've been studying, but we're going to go ahead and create and seed the database file. Again, assuming that you've already cloned this repo onto your drive here. So after you've done that, you're going to go ahead and run this one-liner. Also note that you do need to install Mongo and NPM, but I give you a brief primer on how to do that if you're unfamiliar with those frameworks. So run this one-liner here. You'll copy and paste that into the directory of the terminal. That directory you've cloned does contain the JSON seed file here. So let's go ahead and list the contents in that directory. You can see here it'll be contained within that ambulances.json. So assuming you've already run that, like I said, copy and paste it, you've hit enter, you've run that command. Let's go ahead and fire up mongoDB to check the schema, entities, and attributes of this Mongo database here for this app. Oh, pardon me, it's Mongo. Okay, so let's go ahead and show databases. Okay, you can see here that uberAmbulance databases was instantiated upon running that command. Go ahead and hit use uberAmbulance. Okay, we switched there. Let's go ahead and show collections. Okay, you got ambulance data and request data. So let's go ahead and just pull up one of the entities or in this database already that we just seeded here. So let's just pull up ambulance 2. So ambulance 2 is in there. It's got an object ID, user ID, the uberAmbulance number ID, and then a couple other attributes that are contained within their email. Then we also have coordinates or location. And those coordinates and location will be overlaid using the Mapbox API, which is a great little mapping tool that I've discovered after, again, demonstrating or at least experimenting with a mashup of tutorials. And again, I just spun this up within 3 to 4 days. I started out as a web developer. Actually, before that, I was a banking analyst for about 5 years. Then I jumped into web development for about 3 years, learning all open source frameworks, Ruby on Rails, WordPress, and NPM. So after pivoting into cryptocurrency, especially for my business here, specifically focusing on mining, I've spent the last year and a half really focused on DevOps, like VPN, hardware, like building miners from scratch. And so I focused a lot of my time within the IT realm of tech within, again, the last 18 months. But having said that, although my developer chops are a little rusty, I think 2 of us in a team of 5 here can probably knock this out. So again, this is the first run after about 4 or 5 days of me experimenting. Again, brushing up on all my old NPM chops here. So we're good to go here on the database. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. Okay. And then after that, let's just go ahead and clear that. And let's just go ahead and demonstrate some of the views we've created within this app. So I'm going to minimize this window here. I've got 2 open here. So in this app, we're going to go ahead and fire it up, node app.js. Okay, we've connected the database, so we're good to go. The application is now on. I'm going to pull up all of the ambulance locations that I've situated within the Washington, D.C. area. And if you're following along with this, maybe you know me, there's a little treasure chest or treasure trove of locations. So this will be a fun little tutorial for people that are in the know here. So let's go ahead and run this. Location. Let's just go ahead and pull up ambulance 1. I'm going to pull up all 7 ambulances. Okay, so the first ambulance, again, is overlaid within the U.S. Marine Corps memorial. There's an ambulance located there for the sake of this exercise. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up the remaining 7. I'm just going to do this by piecemeal here just to get to this point. We've got another one located at AMC Georgetown. Okay, great. Next one's going to be at the Westin Georgetown, where I'm currently staying. After that, we are going to be, where is that? The Watergate. And we've got a couple more here. Where is that one located at? The Mole. And then 6 is located at the School of Business. And the last one here should be located, so it's at the hospital. So maybe it dropped somebody off and it's sitting over there. So again, we've got 7 ambulances situated within the Washington Foggy Bottom area. Great example for this tutorial. So let's go ahead and assume that, let's just assume this left pane over here, those are all the views of an ambulance driver using the Uber app. These are the uberAmbulance views over here. They're viewing the Uber app from the ambulance driver's perspective. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. Assume I've already logged in. I've selected the uberAmbulance option as if it were an Uber XL option or something contained within Uber. We're going to assume that after logging into Uber, you have selected the uberAmbulance option. So let's go ahead and pull up the citizen view. Okay, so I am currently, for the sake of this exercise, I'll be located at the Washington Circle there. So again, let's just recap. I'm assuming that I am already a Uber user, and I have selected the uberAmbulance option from the drop-down tab from Uber. So I'm going to go ahead and request for help. Okay. So one caveat I've noted here for the conditions of this exercise, I have only limited my request for help to be proximity specific. So when I do that, when I initiate a request, it will only notify the drivers within a 2,000 kilometer distance. So we flagged the Uber 7, ambulance 7, located over at the hospital. So that's there. We've got the other one also can respond. That's over at the School of Business, I think. Yes. And then let's see here. The other one's going to be located at the Mole there, so that's in range. So I think the only one out of range here is going to be the one at the Marine Corps Memorial. Yeah, so it didn't pick it up, see? So let's go ahead and answer one of these. Let's answer the call. We're going to answer the call from the Watergate. So I'm going to go ahead and help citizen. And as you can see, after I helped citizen, after I responded to their request as an ambulance driver, it does notify the citizen that we're in play here and en route. So that concludes, again, the first run or prototyping of this application that I've sort of spun up here from scratch. Again, I'm hoping that the other developer in my group will be able to dress this up and maybe add a little more bootstrapping flair in here. But again, yeah, that's it. The first run of the tutorial here, again, for uberAmbulance. I'm Alex Singleton, CEO, CTO, and founder of Bucephalus Dev. Looking forward to wrapping up my last project at the George Washington University. Thank you.